I'm showcasing my top 5 meta assault rifles that you should be running right now in Warzone. Starting off the list at number 5, we have the SWAT 556, which if you guys don't know, there's actually a conversion kit attachment that takes it from the SWAT and turns it into the grau from Warzone 1. And it wouldn't be the grau unless we toss on the monolithic suppressor, keeping you guys off that mini-map, but also giving you guys that bullet velocity and that damage range, making it to where the grau is hitting harder and getting the build way closer to hit scan. And once you actually equip the conversion kit, it gives you access to the full auto extended mag, not only upping your mag capacity up to 50, but also giving you guys that recoil stabilization, making it to where the build is an absolute beam. And speaking of being a beam, we're also going to toss on the vertical foregrip, giving you guys a massive boost for that horizontal recoil control, really making to where the grau isn't moving whatsoever. And for this last and final attachment, it is 100% personal preference. If you want to, you could definitely toss on an optic. You could even toss on a stock or a laser, but I'm going to toss on the quick draw grip for our rear grip, giving you guys that ADS speed and that jumping ADS speed, making it to where the build is extremely snappy. The grau did catch a nerf with one of the recent updates, but it is still absolutely disgusting. So make sure you guys go through, give the entire bit a try and tell me the highest kill game you guys get with it. That's my loaded number 5. So let me get you guys number 4. In loaded number 4, we have the Kilo 141, one of my favorite assault rifles in the entire game, and it's just extremely easy to use. So starting off the build, we're going to toss on the monolithic suppressor, giving you guys the exact same pros and cons as the grau, keeping you guys off that mini map, but also giving you guys that bullet velocity and that damage range, again making it to where the Kilo is hitting harder and getting the build up to 1086. And mixing in absolutely perfect with the monolithic, we're also going to toss on the reinforced barrel, pretty much doing the exact same thing, giving you guys that damage range of that bolt velocity, making it to where the Kilo is hitting harder and getting the build even closer to hit scan. And speaking of getting closer to hit scan, one of my favorite things about the Kilo is the fact that it has ridiculous bolt velocity. So just to mix in even more with the muzzle and the barrel, we're going to slide over to the fire mods and toss on the overpressured ammunition, giving you guys even more of a boost, getting the build up to 1629. Now sliding all the way back to the underbarrel, we're going to toss on the vertical foregrip, not only giving you guys that horizontal recoil control, but also giving you guys that recoil stabilization, making it to where the Kilo isn't moving whatsoever. And for the last and final attachment, we're going to toss on the extended mag 2, increase that mag capacity up to 60, making sure you don't have to reload after every single kill. There is so many different ways to build the Kilo, but in my opinion, this build is disgusting, and I actually love the iron sights. So same thing here, make sure you guys go through and test out this build as well. Let's hop directly into loaded number 3. And in that number 3 spot, we have the GPR 91, which unlike the grau, actually got a buff recently, and now it's one of the best assault rifles in the entire game. So starting off the build, we're going to toss on our optic, which for me on the GPR, I love running the OTR red dot. Like I always tell you guys, the optics are 100% personal preference, so you should toss on whatever you feel the most comfortable with. If you do end up running the OTR red dot, I highly recommend you match me, slide to the reticles, go to zombies, and go all the way to the end for the classic reticle. It is extremely clean, and it just makes it to where the optic is 10 times better. Then of course, just like a majority of the builds on the list, we are going to toss on the monolithic suppressor, easily the best muzzle in the entire game. It's keeping you guys off that mini map, but also giving you guys that damage range and that bolt velocity, making sure the GPR is hitting harder and getting you way closer to hit scan. And speaking of getting closer to hit scan, we're also going to toss on the gain twist barrel, which I will say you really can't go wrong with the gain twist barrel or the reinforced barrel, but I really like getting that bolt velocity boost, getting the build up to 1461. And one of my favorite things about the GPR is the fact that it is extremely controllable. So just to add on to that, we're going to toss on the vertical foregrip, giving you guys that horizontal recoil control, making sure the GPR isn't bouncing all over the place. And for the last and final attachment, we're going to toss on the extended mag 2, increase that mag capacity up to 60, making sure you can beam an entire 4 stack if you really need to. That's my full build for the GPR 91, so make sure you guys go through, give the entire bit a try and tell me the highest kill game you guys get with it. That's my loaded number 3. So let me get you guys number 2. Loaded number 2, we have the Cipher 91, which I will say real quick, loaded number 2 and loaded number 1 are kind of interchangeable. It really comes down to personal preference. Starting off the build, we're going to toss on the Volsky Reflex, super clean, super easy to use. Like I keep saying over and over, the optics are 100% personal preference. And same thing here, if you guys toss on the Volsky, I highly recommend you slide to the reticles and toss on this blue dot. It's a little bit smaller than the red dot, and it just makes it even better. And next up, for the muzzle, we are going to toss on the compensator. I have 2 builds for the Cipher, one with 5 attachments and one with 8 attachments. On the 5 attachment build, I like to run compensator, giving you guys that vertical recoil control. And for the gunfighter build, I like to toss on the monolithic suppressor. And since we're not running the monolithic, we do need a boost for that bolt velocity, so we're going to go and toss on the gain twist barrel, giving you guys a massive boost, getting the build up to 1247. Then to mix in absolutely perfect with the compensator, we're also going to toss on the vertical foregrip, giving you guys that horizontal recoil control. So this with the compensator is making sure the Cipher is an absolute beam. And for the last and final attachment, we're going to toss on the extended mag 2, increase that mag capacity up to 60, making sure you don't have to reload after every single kill. But that's my non-gunfighter build for the Cipher 91, and one of the best assault rifles in the entire game. So of course, make sure you guys go through and test out the build. But let me get you guys my gunfighter build as well. For the gunfighter build, it's pretty much the exact same thing, but we're going to take out the compensator and swap it for the monolithic. And now that we have 3 extra attachment slots, we're going to toss on the quick draw grip, making sure the build is extremely snappy. Then we're going to toss on the combat stock, giving you guys some ADS movement movement speed and make it to where even if you get beamed, you're still extremely accurate. And since we're swapping out the compensator for the monolithic, we're gonna go and toss in the recoil springs, still making to where the build is an absolute beam. Overall, I think the Cipher is way better with gunfighter, so if you don't mind running it, I highly recommend you do. And in that number 1 spot, we have the ABR A1, aka the AUG, and just like the Cipher, I have a gunfighter build and a non-gunfighter build. So starting off with the 5 attachment build, we're gonna toss on the R&K multi-zoom. Like I always tell you guys, the optics are 100% personal preference, but I think that the R&K multi-zoom is by far the best for the ABR A1. Now, the default reticle on the R&K multi-zoom is kind of trash, so I highly recommend you slide over here and toss on this green dot because it just makes it 10 times better. Then of course, we are going to toss on the monolithic suppressor. Same thing as every other build, keeping you guys off that mini-map, but also giving you guys that bolt velocity and that damage range, making sure the ABR is hitting harder and getting the build up to 1056. And mixing in absolutely perfect with the monolithic, we're also going to toss on the gain twist barrel, giving you guys even more of a boost for that bolt velocity, getting the build up to 1531. Now, in my opinion, I feel like the ABR really doesn't have recoil, especially when you hold down the trigger for the burst. So if you want to, you could definitely toss on the overpressured ammunition because this is going to get the build up to 1837, which is ridiculous. But I'm actually going to toss on the recoil springs, giving you guys both horizontal and vertical recoil control, really making to where the build is an absolute beam. And for the last and final attachment, we're going to toss on the extended mag 2, increase that mag capacity up to 60, basically making it to where you never have to reload. But if you want to, you definitely toss on the extended mag 1. But that's my non-gunfighter build for the ABR A1, and this thing is genuinely broken. So if for some reason you guys haven't already, go through, give the entire a try and tell me the highest kill game you guys get with it. Let me also get you guys my 8 attachment build. Literally the exact same thing, but we're also going to toss on the vertical foregrip just because we have the extra attachment slot. Then we're going to toss on the quick draw riser, making sure the build is extremely snappy. And just like the Cipher, we are going to toss on the combat pad, giving you guys that flinch resistance and that aim walking movement speed. You honestly can't go wrong with gunfighter or non-gunfighter because the ABR is disgusting either way. But if you like 8 attachments, these are the 8 that I would run. And since I'm showing loadouts in pretty much all my gameplays, I have a smoke grenade with an impact grenade. And for my perk package, I have Mountaineer, Quick Fix, and Tempered. But I do have some honorable mentions. For my first honorable mention, right outside of my top 5 list, we have the AIMS 85. You guys have been commenting a ton recently asking for a build on this, so I'm finally tossing on the list, and I'm going to drop a video for it very soon. So for the first attachment, we're going to toss on the Volsky Reflex. Like I keep saying over and over, the optics are 100% personal preference, so you should toss on whatever you feel the most comfortable with. Then for the muzzle, you really can't go wrong with the compensator or the monolithic. In my opinion, for the AIMS, I feel like the compensator just feels a little bit better, giving you guys that vertical recoil control, making sure the AIMS has 0 recoil. And mixing in absolute perfect with the compensator, we're also going to toss on the vertical foregrip because the compensator is giving us that vertical recoil control and the vertical is giving us the horizontal. So the 2 attachments together is making sure the AIMS is an absolute beam. Then for the barrel, you really can't go wrong with the gain twist, long barrel, or the reinforced barrel. I just think that the gain twist is by far the best option, giving you guys a boost for that bolt velocity, getting the build up to 1232. And for the last and final attachment, we're going to toss on the extended mag 2, increase that mag capacity up to 60, which the AIMS kind of has a fast fire rate, so this is essential for the build. That's my full build for the AIMS 85, which in my opinion is one of the most underrated assault rifles in the entire game. So make sure you guys go through and test out this build as well. But I do have one more honorable mention. And for my second honorable mention, we have the CR56 AMAX, which recently caught a buff, and it is way better than I expected. So starting off the build, same thing as the AIMS, we're going to toss on the Volsky Reflex. I will say it again, the optics are 100% personal preference. I just think that the Volsky is super clean and super easy to use. Then for the muzzle, we are going to toss on the compensator. The AMAX does have some recoil to it, so this is giving you guys that vertical recoil control and that recoil stabilization, making it so the AMAX isn't bouncing all over the place. And of course, mixing in absolute perfect with the compensator, we're also going to toss on the vertical foregrip. Exact same thing as the AIMS 85. This is giving us that horizontal recoil control. So this with the compensator is making sure the AMAX is an absolute beam. And sliding back to the barrel, we're going to toss on the gain twist barrel. Again, I just think that the bolt velocity boost is by far the best option, getting the build up to 1320. Then for the last and final attachment, I'm going to toss on the extended mag 1, increase that mag capacity up to 45. But if you want to, you could definitely toss on the extended mag 2. That's my full build for the CR56 AMAX, and honestly, I don't see nearly enough people talking about this thing. So same thing here, make sure you guys go through, give the entire a try and tell me the highest kill game you guys get with it. But that's it for the loadout, so let me know if I missed anything on my list.